Wash your hands, men. Okay, naming things that have polyatomic ions involved. Remember, polyatomic ions are these dudes. They usually have a negative charge. These are the most common, and the most common ones you'll see on my material, but there are many more, and you should know how to do all of them. Okay, so remember, ions still mean you're going to have a positive and a negative. So, on the left, you're still going to have a metal. And this is basically going to follow the rules of naming ionic compounds. Okay, so you're going to have your cation ion first, and it's just going to be the name of whatever it is. And then you're going to have your polyatomic ion. You're just going to write it exactly how you see it. If it says sulfate, you write sulfate. And that is going to be your anion. Okay, you still got to balance the charges. And I think it's important to know that polyatomic, poly means two or more, and ion means it has a charge. So, that's what a polyatomic ion is. First, let's look at equal charges. Okay, if we have a compound name of magnesium carbonate, let's change it to a chemical formula. And I know you've already done these, but you gotta be really confident in being able to go from compound to chemical formula and chemical formula to compound name. So, magnesium. Let's look at the periodic table and find magnesium. And I see it here. And it has a +2 charge. So Mg with a +2 charge. Mg 2+ charge. And then carbonate. Carbonate comes from over here. And it is CO3 2-. CO3 with a 2- charge. Okay, those are balanced because 2 positive minus 2 negative equals 0. So that is the answer. So you would actually not include the charges as your final answer. Okay, let's look at going from chemical formula to the compound name. And you will definitely have to be able to go both ways. Compound name to chemical formula and chemical formula to compound name. Alright, it says equal charges. But let's just double check and make sure. Okay, let's find lithium. Lithium on the periodic table, there it is. Lithium has a +1 charge. So lithium has a +1. And then OH, I can look at my chart to see OH down here. And it is a -1. So yes, it is balanced, so we are good to go. So that would just be lithium, because you always write the first element just normal, and then you use whatever is on this chart, hydroxide. And that is your answer there. Okay, now let's look at unequal charges. Aluminum sulfate. Okay, so first, let's look at the periodic table and find aluminum. Aluminum is right here with a +3 charge. So, let's write Al 3+ above it. And sulfate. Sulfate is there, and it is SO4 with a 2-. SO4 with a 2-. Okay, We gotta cross these like always. And that leaves you with Al, and this charge becomes a subscript of aluminum. That just tells us that we need 2 aluminums to balance. And then you have to write SO4, and we have to put it in parentheses because we cannot change this number ever, or else it's not sulfate, and it's got to be sulfate. So now we can use this and put it down at the bottom. So that's your answer, Al2SO4-3. So this is just building on the stuff you've already learned. So don't panic, you can do it. Now let's look when we're given the chemical formula, and then we got to change it to the compound name. Calcium. Calcium over here has a +2 charge. And we have 2 hydroxides. So let's look at the chart. 1 hydroxide is just 1 minus, but we have 2 of them. So we have a -2 charge. And I just know we have 2 because of that 2 right there. Alright, and we just write it how we see it. Calcium. Ca is calcium. And then whatever is on the table to go with OH, you don't have to change anything, you just have to write hydroxide. Now what happens if you're given both polyatomic ions? So when you're first starting out and you don't know the periodic table that well, you're probably going to spend a lot of time looking for ammonium on the periodic table, and you're not going to find it because it is a polyatomic ion. So if you have trouble finding the element, look at your polyatomic ion chart and see if it's there. So let's go up here and see if we see ammonium. And we do. Here it is. NH4 with a +1 charge. NH4 with a +1 charge. Okay, sulfate. Let's find sulfate on our polyatomic ion chart. It is SO4 2-. SO4 2-. Okay, now this is very important. This has to be kept in parentheses. Okay, this has to be kept in parentheses, and so does this, so that we are keeping the same elements and ions. So we're still going to cross the charges like we always have. That 2- is going to go to the outside of that parentheses, and this 1 is going to go to the outside of this parentheses. So we would have NH4, then we use that 2 right there because it came down with a 2, and SO4, and that one would be 1, so we're just going to leave it off. And that is your entire answer. That would be your answer that you put in. Alright, now backwards. Chemical formula to compound name. Let's find NH4. So let's go up to our chart, and this may not be on the chart actually. NH4. Well, hello there. It is ammonium. Alright, NH4, it has a +1 charge, and it is ammonium. Okay, NO3, let's find NO3 on the chart. NO3, nitrate, and it has a -1 charge. So we have ammonium nitrate. These are probably the easiest to name if you just recognize that they're polyatomic ions. See ya!